Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Week 4 previews of CFL action. Now, I'm sorry about this video is coming out a bit late. I've been really busy these past few days with work and some other stuff going on. So I'm currently filming this in the middle of the Hamilton versus Montreal game, though. I've intentionally not checked the score because I want to be able to give a unbiased and honest preview of what this game will be like. So... but first, we're going to go into Edmonton versus Toronto. You're probably wondering why I even said it, because this game is being postponed, sadly. This game, I believe 15 players as of this point in time of the Edmonton Elks have tested positive for COVID-19, including quarterback Trevor Harris. So, that game will most likely happen at a later date. Maybe they'll add it on to the end of the season, or they'll shuffle some things around, and maybe Edmonton loses their break week, possibly. So we'll have to see what happens there. But so really, no point in previewing this now. So we're gonna get into our next game, which is Hamilton versus Montreal. Okay, so this is a bit of an interesting one to review because the game's happening right now. However, I just don't know what's happening. I think it's in the third quarter. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been checking, so I'm just kind of guessing. So Hamilton had a break week, so it's gonna be interesting to see how that affects them this game. I actually could predict Hamilton. Now, Hamilton's had a bit of a weaker first little bit of the season. However, I feel like this break is really gonna help them kind of organize their team better. And I really feel like Hamilton could possibly win this game, even though Montreal came out so strong in Game 1. But it seemed like in Game 2 that all that heat that they had, it was just kind of dying down. And I think if Mazzoli and Banks can really, and Acklin can really figure this out, I really think that Hamilton can pull this through. However, I'm suspecting a close game. I would guess under a touchdown, probably maybe a field goal difference in score. Vernon looks good, but I mean, I like the other game. He didn't give off me the impression that he was the best QB in the league. I think he could be if he really was on a hot streak and like continued on that. But I think he's definitely a solid option for Montreal, and I think I think he's good. So that'll bring us to our next game, which is going to be BC versus Ottawa. An interesting one because Ottawa last game, I found that Nichols was playing well, but Nichols is kind of gold surrounded by fool's gold in the sense of, is the Ottawa O-line going to show up today? Are they not going to? Are their receivers going to catch it or drop it? Who knows with this Ottawa team? I don't ever suspect Ottawa, at least at this point in time with the team they have, of really ever going on a playoff run or anything. Absolutely not. But, sometimes they'll be able to give teams a bit of a run for their money. I mean, obviously, they lost by 16 points to Saskatchewan. However, they were able to hold Saskatchewan to 26 points. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but for a team like Ottawa, really, everyone had no expectations for that team against the best offense in the CFL. That's not bad. And being able to still put up a field goal and a touchdown that past game, it wasn't bad. So I think BC will win this game. Whitehead and Burnham have been fantastic, and Riley's healthy. No sign of anything there. He looks good to go. So I think BC wins this. However, I think it will be a close game. Not as close, I think, as the Hamilton versus Montreal game. I think it'll be under 10-point difference between BC and Ottawa. And with that, going into our next game, that'll be Calgary versus Winnipeg. Okay, this is going to be this. So Winnipeg is capable of being the best team in the league. Capable of it. And they looked like they're going to be consistent until this last week against Toronto, where, they really didn't look that great. However, they did have spurts of good. And I mean, spurts of good is really the only thing that kept them in the game against Toronto with, a defensive touchdown and whatnot. So Winnipeg... First off, Calgary has a far better kicker than we do. Winnipeg, we gotta get a new kicker. Like losing Medlock to the NFL definitely hurt us, as he was awesome. But we're like Calgary's been hitting field goals from 52 yards, and we're missing them from 30. So that, just to give you an idea on the difference in kicking start power. However, Calgary has been on and off. Now, with the QB switch having Bo Levi Mitchell sit on the bench, they actually have been playing a little bit better. I think they'll still go with him unless he falls apart and they put Bo Levi Mitchell back in. And I wonder if they ever decide to put him back in, if that maybe gave him a bit of a kick in the ass to really start playing like that star caliber quarterback that, they signed him to be. One important thing in this game is Winnipeg needs a strong start. Winnipeg started off really weak against Toronto and gave up points on, I think, like the first 4 drives against Toronto. Toronto was scoring on every drive, and, they couldn't get anything until they eventually got a defensive touchdown. They kind of slowed that momentum. But if they didn't slow that momentum, who knows how many points Toronto would have. But they need a strong start. They need to really kind of give a punch in the mouth to this Calgary team right away. And we need the defense to be playing the way that they can, because our offense is good. However, our offense is good enough to win games when our defense is rock solid. I would love to see our offense really shine more than they have, because the games that we've won, I don't think we've gone past 20 points. I think I could be wrong, but we haven't really scored a ton. And one of them, like I said, is because our kicking situation is not the greatest. Caleros, I think, does need to scramble a bit more. It's funny, after the first game I said he was scrambling too much. Second game I thought it was perfect. The amount of which he'd stay in the pocket and scramble, I thought the balance in that game was perfect. This past game, he sat in the pocket the whole time, and just some of those angles that he would be able to get passes at from scrambling out and getting a better angle than what he's been given in the pocket, it's gotten us first downs and touchdowns. And I think that he does need to move a bit more, as that's definitely one of his strengths as a QB. So I think Winnipeg wins this game. However, I know some people are thinking it's going to be a bit of a handily win. Handily, is that the word to use? I don't know. But they think Winnipeg's going to win by a decent amount. I don't think so. I think we win by 10 points maybe. Maybe not. Maybe even less than that, to be honest, with the way that Calgary played this past game. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for my Game 4 review of the Bombers season against Calgary coming up, obviously. And then Labor Day the next week after that. And my season... Week 4 reviews of these games. So stay tuned for that, and see you next time.